Greetings, everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here today. Yep, it's another battle of the masterpiece albums. So for those of you new, haven't seen this before, basically what I'm doing here is I've taken all of the masterpiece albums. They're my masterpiece albums. You have your own. I have mine. You have yours. And some of them might be in common, which is good. Anyways, I've taken all 61 of them and I've put them into 15 battles, which basically works out to 4 per episode, except for the last episode, which will have an extra one in there. And the winner of each of these battles, I will listen to them all. Not that I haven't listened to them all many times, but I will listen to them all throughout the course of the week. Normally what I've been doing is I've been taking the 4 albums, putting them next to the stereo with my playlist stuff on the other side. And I just alternate them in. So by maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I've gone through them all, listened to them. I kind of sit there and I think about how I felt about them. And then I give them a rating number. And at the end of the week, I look at the rating numbers, see if they look reasonable or if I think that they're true to form. And then I rank them the way I like them. So we've got 4 good ones today, as we will on every episode, but some really tough albums here. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I always do. I'm going to tell you a little, I'll introduce them, talk a little bit about each one, and then give you my ranking. So I'll introduce them first, then I'll go back and talk about them, and then I'll rank them. So the first one, Hearts. This is a greatest hits album, basically, but there is the thing that makes this album stand out for me is the live tracks. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 live tracks at the back of the album. Now this particular disc here, so I own this album. This is the one I've had the longest of the 4. I've owned this the longest and had this originally on vinyl. So it's probably the oldest of the one I've had the longest of the 4. Or have owned and in some fashion for the longest of the 4. Next up is this one, Judas Priest, probably the next longest one. I got it when it came out in vinyl, and I then got it again in this, so probably about 82. This one I got in 88 or 89, but didn't really listen to it until probably the beginning of the 2000s. So even though I've had it for over almost 37 years, I never really got into it till maybe about 25 years ago. So it's probably the newest of the bunch. Hemispheres, of course, is the last one. Oh, sorry, I didn't introduce this one. This is Foxtrot, for those of you who don't know. I can't imagine that you wouldn't, but that's Foxtrot. This is Hemispheres by Rush. I got this album probably, I want to say 82, 83, when I started going back and collecting them all. My friend had this one at Farewell to Kings. I had Moving Pictures and Fly By Night, I believe. I might be wrong about that. And I think we both had Moving Pictures. Permanent Waves is the one I bought. I think we both bought Moving Pictures. And then from that going forward, that's kind of the way it was. But I didn't have this one initially. Had to go back and get it. It wasn't very strong with me initially either. It just kind of has grown, especially in this century, really kind of taken off and become one of my favorite Rush albums. So those are the 4 combatants today. So we're going to talk a little bit about each of them. We'll start doing them in the reverse order this time. So Hemispheres. Rush is this their 6th? I think this is their 6th studio album. It's a side-long epic. This is a side-long epic. This is probably their most proggy of all their albums. Covers proggy. There's only 4 songs on the album. Side 1 is a side-long epic with 6 suites on it. Pretty strong album. Now, back then I didn't really like the side-long epic. I did like the other stuff on the other side. Circumstances, The Trees, and of course the legendary La Villa Strangiato. Of course produced by Terry Brown and Rush. This one they pushed the envelope as far as they could instrumentally. pushed themselves really hard. This was a hard album for them to put together. Like I said, I didn't initially like the Hemisphere side of the album. Back then, I wasn't really into those epic length long songs. They came much later, a little bit later for me anyways. But I've since grown to, this is one of my favorite Rush albums now. So yeah, great album, great instrumentation, and some of their best stuff is on that album. Next up, Foxtrot. This is probably the newest of the 4 albums here for me, at least in my chronology. Obviously, if you were to actually do this chronologically, this would be the oldest one, coming back from 1972. The first side, Watchers of the Skies, Timetable, Get 'Em Out by Friday, and of course one of my favorite songs, Can Utility and the Coastliners. Fantastic side of an album. Only gets stronger with me all the time. The other side of the album with Horizons and the small acoustic bit by Steve Hackett, which is great, and Supper's Ready, fantastic. One of the greatest epic long side album sides on any album anywhere. This was what brought me into this album. I love that part of it a lot. It's kind of faded a bit. Probably played it too much, really, to be honest with you. But the other side has not lost that fade. This is a strong, strong album. I don't know. It's continually got stronger too. This and Nursery Crime have always continually moved up. So I'm not sure if the other two, the ones at the top, are going to be able to hold these guys off forever. But great album, fantastic. Next, Screaming for Vengeance from Judas Priest. For the longest time, it was my only Judas Priest album, and then I got Defenders of the Faith probably later in 1988. I think it was part of that group of albums that I purchased on that day when I went to Sam's. Spent about $300 on CDs that day, and I think it was one of the albums. It was actually one of those. There was like 2 or 3 of them that I actually played a lot. The rest of them kind of stayed in storage for a while. This was 1982. This album comes out, so chronologically, I think it is the newest of the 4 albums. Fantastic. This was my favorite Judas Priest. Is my favorite Judas Priest. This album brought me, when I bought it not too long ago, this particular CD, I bought it and started getting back into Judas Priest. This was the forefront of that. This album made a masterpiece, I believe, either last year or the year before. I can't remember which one. Just fantastic. The stuff that I liked initially on here, the big songs like Hellion and Electric Eye and Screaming for Vengeance, and of course, You Got Another Thing Coming. Those were the songs I listened to initially on this album when I first got it. The others I would just hear, but I didn't really hear. Now, those songs have become my favorites. Riding on the Wind, Bloodstone, Take These Chains, and Pain and Pleasure. Absolutely killer tracks. And then you got Devil's Child on the other side. Bruiser. So it was a fantastic heavy metal album. It's definitely in the running for my favorite heavy metal album for sure. I just love this album. It's continuously gotten stronger and grown on me more so. At one time, the Number of the Beast was way up here and it was down here. I think it might be a little bit more the other way now. So those are the first 3. The last one, the Hard Album, which is chronologically about 3rd here. It came out in 1980, but for me, I owned this album first of any of them, and I like it. So what I was trying to say earlier about this one, so the original vinyl album from here was fantastic. It has 3 additional tracks on it that they cut when they made this disc because this was still in the early days of CDs. So I got this one probably 1988. I think it was one of the albums from that purchase period as well. But I had the vinyl one before this for about 5 years before I gave it to my sister when I moved out. So I never had this album for a long time, but it's a great album. They did remove 3 tracks. I'm not even sure what the tracks were they moved because originally there was 18 on here. There's now only 15. But all the tracks on here are fantastic. All of their big hits, of course, but it's the live stuff that really cranks it for me, especially the song Tell It Like It Is. Minstrel Wind are both fantastic here. And then, of course, the I'm Down, Long Tall Sally, fantastic version. Rock and Roll, I liked it a lot when I first heard it back on the album when I originally got it. It's the song, though, not the group. The song just kind of has wore on me to a point where I just I cringe when I got to listen to it almost. But, of course, the collection hits are all great here. Barracuda, Magic Man, Heartless, Dreamboat Annie, Straight On, Crazy on You, Dog and Butterfly, and yeah, just great tunes. Some of them are kind of burned out. I actually prefer a lot of the deep cuts more. It's probably why this album hasn't stood up as well as it once did. At one time, this was among my favorite albums for sure. It's trying to get back up there today, along with the others, but maybe it won't make it. So those are the 4 albums. Talked about each of them. Now I got to rank them for you. I've already done that prior to the video, so I know what's coming in here. And I'm just going to give them to you the way I see them. So coming in at the bottom, mostly because of length of time and it's being a greatest hits. There's other albums I like by the group almost as much or more even now. So, but still a fantastic album, but it's going to come 4th here on the list. Number 3, probably won't come as a surprise. Screaming for Vengeance, Judas Priest. Fantastic album. It's just up against some serious heavyweights in their own right. This is a serious heavyweight, but it just is not quite there where the other 2 albums are concerned. So I'm going to put it here at 3rd. So this is going to probably surprise a few people. But I'm going to put Hemispheres 2nd, only because it just recently, I played it a lot in the last few years and I've kind of burned it out again a little bit too much. And so it's kind of dipped slightly, but it's not really that much of a slight. It's like a hair between it and Screaming for Vengeance, and then maybe another hair between it and Foxtrot, which is going to win. And I think the reason Foxtrot wins this today is just because it's continually getting stronger. The songs on here are so memorable, so catchy. Can Utilities and the Coastliners, I love that track. It's one of my favorite Genesis, but it's no less a favorite than Watchers of the Sky or Supper's Ready. This album is proliferated with fantastic stuff. Even Get 'Em Out by Friday, which is kind of a little bit quirky of a song. I like that a lot too. So I think just for today, if you came back and did this next week, maybe I'd be more on the Hemisphere side. I'm not sure. Genesis for the 2nd week is going to beat out Rush again. And people are starting to say, oh, maybe Rush isn't your favorite band anymore. Well, there's a lot more to Rush than just their albums, I'm afraid to tell you. The reason they are where they are has a lot more to do with the people in it and the fact that they're Canadian, and then my overall nostalgic connection to them, my love of the band as a whole and their music. So it's a whole picture with them, not so much with Genesis. There are, of course, members of Genesis I love, other members not so crazy about, but overall, I love all the guys in Rush, and that's part of the reason why they're at the top of the heap for me. But for today, Genesis is going to win this with Foxtrot. So that's 2 Genesis albums going through to the next round. They might end up on top here. There's a couple of real strong candidates. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Battle of the Masterpiece Albums. This is, I believe, episode 5. I think it's episode 5. Yeah, I think it's episode 5. And the clear winner today, well, not clear, but really close winner, Foxtrot, barely squeezing out on Hemispheres and Screaming for Vengeance. So please hit the like, subscribe. If you want to make your comments or rate them however you want, or have any comments about any of the albums, you can do that in the comment section below, and we will be back next week with another Battle of the Masterpiece Albums. Take care and have a good one. Goodbye.